John, the players said you worked almost exclusively on defense yesterday. What did you work on, and how much progress did you think they made?
We're trying to get them to play through a whole possession, stand. Someone said, wow, you guys got beat on the dribble. Yeah, if you're standing straight up and down, it's pretty easy to get beat on the dribble. So we did a lot of things of keeping them in a stance. But again, when I watch the tape, there's just not the effort. And I'm trying to explain, you guys, I asked them what having fun was. They said winning. I said, no, not necessarily. It's coming out and having an unbelievable effort by everyone that's on that floor and who comes in the game, and forcing your will on the other team, doing it together, talking and having fun doing it. That's fun. You may lose a game and be miserable after the game, but throughout the game you had a ball playing because you tried to do it, the other team did it back, and you went back and forth. And I said there are games you could lose and feel good about because you gave everything, and then there are games that you win by 30 and you should not feel good about it. But they don't know all that. This is all stuff that's new to them.
Cal, whether it's defense or body language stuff, Andrew and Aaron have said all the right things about that. You're trying to make them better, and they're taking to it. Are they doing that in practice? Are they listening? And
they're trying, but they've got a ways to go. But it's not just those two. Julius has got a ways to go. When you rebound, stick, rebound, bang, and then they say, man, they play hard. But then you got to watch defensively. You got to watch running the floor. Alex has gotten better, but got a ways to go. I mean, we're just, we're a team that is behind. Dominique probably is closest to what we're looking for of anybody on the team, but we're not where we need to be right now.
Dominique says he feels weird shouting loudly, and especially in a quiet practice gym with visitors watching. Has that been an emphasis too this week for you to just make those guys?
Well, you can't if you don't know where everybody is, and if people aren't talking, you're not comfortable. You kind of you go back because you're afraid to go out because you don't know if people have your back, and that's where we are a little bit right now too. So we got there's a lot of fronts that we got to work on. I mean, we've got to work more on the press, which I want to do today and do some different things out of it. But the whole point comes back to your effort. If you want to know again what success, it's just I'm giving my best. I'm doing my best, and you have to feel good about that. If you're not doing your best, if you're standing around, if you stop playing, for most of these kids, they were always bigger and stronger and longer and faster. You didn't have to outwork the other guy. If a team's effort level is far beyond yours, it will smash a talented group. Just will. A less talented team that just fights like crazy will beat the talented team. And so we just, my job right now is to get these guys to understand how hard they got to play, what it's got to look like, and we're just not there.
At this point, is Dominique your best candidate to be that lockdown defender like a DeAndre?
His size, James Young should be able to be that guy. Julius should be able to be the guy. He got beat, he got beat on the dribble 4 or 5 times. Again, stood straight up and down. Didn't really get down in the stance. And then getting down, we're so long, you have to get down in a stance and have a hand up because you're taking away a jumper because you're 7 foot tall, you're 6'9". You don't go down and go like this and make yourself 6 foot. So then it's like, well, I can't have my hand up and get down. Oh, yeah, you can. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So we got some of that. But again, I'll say this. Great bunch of kids. They really are. One of the greatest groups I've coached. But they're kids, and we got a lot of learning to do and a lot of habits to break. And it's hard to break them, and especially if I keep seeing on tape and it's the same. Then I've had to change what I'm doing in practice and how I'm doing it, to get them to do the right stuff.
What do you like right now, and what do you want more of from Calipari?
We worked on his free throw shooting yesterday. I think he'll be fine. Showed him clips of Ennis, some other guys in the league, and how, before I worked with him, had worked with Ennis. Ennis right now is the leading big man free throw shooter. And just shortened his stroke, so it's from here, and he did it yesterday. He looked pretty good. But he's got to grab balls with 2 hands. He's got to be more athletic, which means be more alert before you guard and before you catch the ball. Don't bring the ball down. Get it up to the goal and keep your hands up. You're 7 foot tall and you got long arms. Why would you bring it down and make yourself small? Because it's easier. I want to gather myself. To do this and make it's hard. So it's most of our guys, if there's two ways of doing it, this is the easier way and this is the harder way. Right now, this group has been used to, let me do the easier way. We got to get them out of that mode.
Cal, there's something that came out yesterday, sort of suggesting that you might be a target for the New York Knicks down the road. Do you hate that? Seems to come up every year. Do you mind that that comes up? Is it a distraction?
I mean, I don't pay any attention to it. You know, the job I have to do here to develop these kids and get them right is all encompassing. So I'm not, you know, my focus is here, and I don't get into all that and rumors and innuendo, and it won't be the last one that's out there, and I just don't deal with it.
Do you ever want to be coaching the NBA again?
I'm good where I am. I've said it publicly that, you know, this is a great, what makes this unique, and I mentioned today driving in, I was reading a new book, and it's about purpose, and the purpose here is real clear to me, is I'm getting someone's child, and my job is to develop them in all areas, not just on the basketball court, to prepare them for reaching their dreams, and when they reach their dreams, they become successful, and understand the bigger picture, which John Wall gave $1 million back to charity, DeMarcus Cousins gave $1 million back to charity when they signed contracts. And you see it here. And so my focus is on just, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's a purpose that is, you know, one that's, you know, it's a heavy thing because you got people's children. But this stage and what we do and how we prepare them has worked. So we're just going to keep working that way.
John, go back to defense for a second. Not to compare teams, but on that 2012 team, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, every possession, it seemed like he was down in his defensive stance, getting up into somebody. How much does that rub off on the other guys, and do you need that sort of thing to rub off on guys on your
Also,
team?
Marcus Teague would go guard. You know, I mean, we didn't have just one, and Anthony was back there alert. He never was flat-footed. Terrence and Darius and Duran, you know, those guys, you had a lot of guys that were willing to defend, and you had some veterans that were showing the others. Michael didn't need to be taught about it. That's what Michael brought to the table. And so we're right now, it's just, there's just something lacking that we got to get out of them, and they got to accept it as much as anything else.
Cal, last week, Tom Izzo was pretty disappointed about some of the fan support, people who showed up. You had the smallest crowd at Rep Arena since you've been here. I don't know how aware you are of the student section upstairs being so empty. Do you notice that stuff? Does it bother you?
It's one great thing here. I don't need to market, and I don't need to sell tickets. I don't need to put up billboards. And no, we'll be fine. This program, you know, I think what happens for us is every game being on TV, and you have an arena the size of ours, sometimes people have I'll just go watch it on TV. That has an impact, but that's everywhere. I think the one program that has sustained that support has been this program.
Are you happy with the way games are being called so far?
I think scoring's up. The only thing in the post, I think, you know, we were all taught when you're defending, we were to go up. Because if you went down, it was an automatic foul. So if you were going to go to somebody, whack up. Because, watch this, his hands are on the top of the ball. So you whack up where the ball was. If a guy rebounded it, all you basketball bennies, you rebounded it, where are his hands? On the top. Do you want to whack here, or do you whack up? For some reason, we're now letting kids whack down and saying the hand is part of the ball. Really? So when he throws it, his hand stays on the ball. I didn't know that. So that hand, I'm throwing a ball with two hands on it. Really? And then when it moves, and I want you to understand, if a guy holds the ball like this and they take it out of his hands, that's, you could understand. But how about when he moves it and they whack? You're going to hit that ball without hitting elbows and wrists. And so right now what we have is there's still a lot of whacking going on. And when he moved, we did this rule, ready? Ball raises, If that guy's not there, automatic, automatic. If I move the ball and you whack down, my humble opinion, that should be an automatic foul. How are you going to hit that ball as I move it to, you're going to hit right on the ball, and well, he only had a little bit of your wrist. Oh, which portion, the inside, the outside? So those are the only things. But I think the direction we're going with officiating, long overdue. I'm just hoping the coaches that are coaching their team to play this way don't get punished as the year goes on, because they start calling it rough again. They start letting them do this and that and all the other stuff, pushing the back, you know, hitting the elbows, and, you know, as long as that's the case, then, you know, you want to reward the coaches who did what you asked them to do.
You've talked a couple times about guys needing not to have their shot falling, dictating their energy. Are they starting to get that lesson yet?
A little bit, but you still have a bunch of guys that, you know, like I told them, you look like you're a bad kid, like you got an attitude, and it's not true. Why would you want to be perceived that way? See, I think a lot of times guys put their shoulders down and head because they just want to stop playing. Because if you don't, you got to run back and just get in the stance and play and get your horn. Or I can put my head down and just run like I'm mad and look around. Anybody watching me? So I'm just saying, play. Just play. Quit missing. You missed a free throw. Head went down. I'll jog back. Anybody watching? Just keep running. And guys get used to stopping and not having to play through stuff. It's what happens. So they developed habits. We just got to correct them. And it's going to take time. It's not happening overnight. All right, thanks, guys.